Thank you.
Enjoyed that.
Well, good. I'm glad.
It's an extraordinary costume, isn't it?
Oh, well, it's a little bit colorful.
Colourful?
Yeah.
It's an eyeful, isn't it?
This is one of my simpler outfits.
Is it?
Yeah,
You
casual.
Consider yourself a kind of fashion trendsetter?
Oh, I don't know how fashionable I would be, but I do wear my own types of clothes because I like the colorful things, all the things that glitter, and of course everything that glitters is not gold, but most of mine are cheapies. And anyway, it's just something I enjoy, and I like the the flair and all.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this presentation that you put on in the public, I mean, is that a sort of an extension of you? It's a sort of, I mean, the wigs, you've got, what, 200 wigs, haven't you?
At least. There were about 100 of them at once. No, I really used to, when the teased hair fashion came out, I was a sophomore in high school, and I really enjoyed that. I used to spend a lot of time making my hair as big as I could because I'm also short, and I enjoyed the working with the hair because it was something very creative for me to do. And then after it went out of style, I still enjoyed it. So for many years after it was out of style, I kept doing, my hair with the teased style. So people in the music business kept saying that I should change it because they thought I would be taken more serious if I would look more fashionable. And of course, I came on the idea then that I would not only not change it, but I would over-exaggerate it. And so I started wearing the wigs just for the convenience and for the gimmick of it. And it's worked out real well. And the main thing is it's for attention, and you can't miss me, so...
That's absolutely true, yeah. And they wouldn't mistake you for a fella, would they?
No, I don't know. I tell you what, sometimes we have, in the United States, and I think it's beginning to happen here some, when you said if they might mistake me for a fella, we have a lot of Dolly look-alike contests.
Yes, Dolly Parton look-alikes.
Yeah.
I can ask you about those, yeah.
Were you?
Yeah.
Because they're very popular at home, and radio stations, hold these, and people come from everywhere looking like Dolly Parton. Because I'm very easy to look like. All you need is a big wig and costume and, some, And so...
No, I don't know what.
How should I say this? But anyway, the biggest part of the people are men that are dressed,
Really?
In drag, yeah. And they usually are the prettiest ones.
Really?
So, yeah.
Good Lord. Well, that's extraordinary, isn't it?
Well...
Fellas who look like Dolly Parton.
Well, there are those types of people in the world.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's fun for them as well to, to dress up. And I'm especially popular at Halloween and at masquerade parties. People always dress up like me because, like I say, it's a very cheap and convenient way to do. You don't need expensive wigs, to wear the hair, or you don't need expensive clothes. You can buy these on any street corner in the right part of town.
Do you in fact ever feel tempted to enter one of the Dolly Parton look-alike contests yourself?
Well, I almost did it once. They were having a Dolly Parton look-alike contest at the Palomino Club, a famous country and western club in Los Angeles, and they were holding a Dolly look-alike contest. And I almost entered. What I wanted to do was just to play myself down a little bit, dress the way I thought possibly, the people that would enter the contest would dress, and to actually go in under a different name, and thinking how funny it would be if I actually went as myself and lost.
Yeah.
So for fear that I might lose, I didn't do it, but I really almost wanted to. And one of these days, I probably will do that.
Yeah. When did your fascination with dressing up and the glamour of the business start, Dolly? Well, from a kid, from being a child, were you also obsessed with this idea of being a glamorous star?
Well, I grew up, I think you mentioned earlier, I grew up in the Great Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee in a family of 12 children. We had 6 girls and 6 boys, and of course we were just farm folks, and we didn't have things that money could buy, and of course we didn't make money. We grew our own food, and we just made our living from the land. And of course, after I got older, I realized that I was really, really impressed with pretty things like beautiful clothes. And so I thought when I was rich someday that I would have pretty clothes and pretty hair. And as usual, I overdone it with both. But anyway, it was something that I always dreamed of having. And I do enjoy it. It's something playful for me. And my personality, I'm so outgoing. I'll be honest with you. in hopes that you will take me serious on the serious things, but to also enjoy with me the things that are fun for me, which is like the image. Because I feel more, when I'm performing, I just seem to really project better if I feel like I've got all the glitter and the glare. But I think it did come from not having things when I was small.
But how poor were you? I mean, it's very difficult for us here, I suppose, to imagine the kind of poverty you were born into.
Well,
because we're not talking about that long ago, are we?
No, actually, I'm 32 years old, and my most impressionable years were the years between 2 and 10 years old. And during that time, we lived in a place where we had no electricity. We lived way, way back in the mountains, a long way from the nearest town. We had very few neighbors, and they were scattered, all over the mountains. And we were extremely poor as far as money, and like I say, we had food to eat, but not the things we wanted necessarily, but we had mostly just starches, beans and potatoes in the winter. And in the summers, it was really good because we had lots of fresh vegetables. But we were so poor that we had to wear things that people would send us. Mama would make things over, wear rags actually to school. But I did have a good mom and daddy. We stayed close, and we always had a great love for God and a great appreciation for the things that we did have. And I'm so glad that I do have that kind of background, because now that I am able to afford a few things, it makes it nicer, it makes me appreciate it more. But one of the things about growing up in a big family like that, and in the country, you don't have large houses usually because you can't afford, the large houses. So we slept like 3 and 4 kids in a bed.
Really?
Yeah, and of course, in the summers, we used to take our baths in the river. And we used to be, just average kids. And we were quite dirty sometimes when we would, play outside or be working in the fields. And we used to often leave a ring around the little Pigeon River when we'd take our baths. But one of the main things is in the winter times when a lot of people have asked me, well, what about in the winter? How did you bathe in the winter if you didn't have indoor plumbing? Because we had an outside toilet.
Toilet, yeah.
Yeah, and most people had 3 rooms and a bath. We had 3 rooms and a bath. So, but anyway, they say, well, how did you bathe in privacy? And I always tell them that we would get in a room, and that we would wash down as far as possible, then wash up as far as possible, and when everybody cleared the room, we washed possible. So you just have to do what you have to do when you're from that big a family.